If you work concrete construction, chances are you've seen this or you will see this. What it is a column isolation blockout, also referred to as a diamond in the field. What it is, it's a concrete box formed and placed on top of the foundation and poured after the slab on grade. The reason you do that is because as the building settles, you don't want the weight on the slab because it's going to crack. So with it being independent, the building can settle and the slab on grade is going to be perfectly intact. The second reason is when you pour the slab, you got to cut the control joints in, and to make a nice clean cut and remove any breaks, the saw cut's going to come and terminate at each one of the corners on this diamond. And we'll show you how to build it with some of the tools and some of the tricks of the trade. To build a diamond, you're just going to need a circular saw, a hammer drill with a 3/16 inch bit, some pieces of tie wire, no screws, just nails. The 16Ds go at the bottom that attach the 2x4s to the concrete. The 8 duplex attach the corner supports to the 2x4s, and you're going to use the 6s to attach the plywood to the 2x4s. And no screws because it just aids in the stripping process when you stick with nails. And of course, you're going to need 1 sheet of plywood and a 16-foot 2x4. In this example, we have a 2-foot by 32-inch blockout. These dimensions come from the drawings in the detail. If it's not in the detail, check the notes page on the first page of the drawings. So it would read -2, and that's where you get the 24 inches. 32 inches is your typical, and it's based on coverage rate. Always go a little bit bigger if you can, because it makes the stripping operation that much easier in the future. A quick safety tip when building diamonds is to make sure you don't use a nail larger than a 6 common when attaching the outside plywood to the top 2x4. The reason you do this is because anything larger than the 6 will protrude through the 2x4, potentially harm the person that goes out to strip it. The top 2x4s in this example are cut at 29 3/4 inch. That number comes from 32 minus 2 1/4. The 2 1/4 is the 3/4 inch plywood plus the 1.5 inch for the 2x4. So you just reduce that from the 32 to give you the 29 3/4. The bottom 2x4s are cut a foot shorter than the length of the box. So in this example, the box is 32 inches wide, minus a foot gives you the 20 inches. The reason you do this is to make stripping operations easier by giving yourself more real estate down there. Another trick for stripping is clean up any excess concrete in that diamond. Break everything free. If there's stuff inside, take the time, remove it, and it'll speed up the stripping process. The 2x4s also need to be kept 1 inch down minimum from the top of the plywood. When you're attaching the top 2x4s to the plywood, they need to be exactly the same. So if you're starting flush on the right side, the remaining 3 need to be on the right side. If you're going left, they all need to be on the left-hand side. When you're setting the first piece of the diamond, you need to make sure that you're getting the plywood right on the column line. Because again, these are going to be used for the saw cut lines when the slab is poured. When you're fastening the 2x4s for the diamond onto the foundation, you want to use 16D duplex nails with a piece of tie wire to pinch nail it down. And you only need 2 on each side. For added support in the corners, we've got 8-inch pieces of plywood attached to the top 2x4. That gives it strength and it keeps it square. For the corner supports, since we're nailing plywood to the 2x4, it's best to use the 8D duplex. There's no reason to use anything larger. Because the top 2x4 is attached 1 inch minimum below the top of the plywood, it doesn't matter that the nails are sticking out because they're actually flush with the top of the form and it won't impact finishing operations. So after the slab is poured and the diamonds are ready to be stripped, you're going to start at the corners, work your way around, take all the nails out. Then you can hit these 2x4s, keep working your way down. Remove the nails at the bottom, get that last 2x4 out, and then you can start going after the plywood. There's going to be, imagine concrete all around this. You start at the corner, work your way around. Once you get the first one out, it gets easier as you go. So the second piece is going to be easier, and these last two, you probably don't even need the Burke bar. Just lift it out by hand. When you're stripping, you do not want to leave nails sticking out through the plywood. Somebody can get punctured. It's a laceration hazard. You got a couple options. If it's sticking out, bend it over like this. As you can see, there's no issue. But ideally, if you can completely remove the nail, you've got no hazard at all.